Long before Apple became the world's most valuable company, Steve Jobs was simply a curious teenager fascinated by electronics and impossible ideas.
Every spare moment was spent learning how machines worked, believing technology could eventually change everyday life.
Everything changed when a visionary technology entrepreneur met an engineering genius named a gifted computer engineer. One brilliant engineer built remarkable computers, while his business partner understood how to transform inventions into products millions of people would want. Together they imagined creating a personal computer that anyone, not just engineers, could use. Inside a small family garage, one of the most influential companies in history quietly began taking shape. Their first computer looked simple, but it introduced a completely different vision for personal computing. Convincing someone to buy an unknown computer from two young entrepreneurs proved far more difficult than building it. Every computer was assembled by hand, as the tiny company struggled to keep up with its first orders. What started inside one garage would soon begin transforming the entire technology industry. The Apple II became the company's first major success, bringing computers into homes and small businesses. Unlike many competitors, Apple focused on making computers easier and more enjoyable to use.
Sales grew rapidly as Apple transformed from a tiny startup into one of Silicon Valley's fastest-growing companies. Investors suddenly realized this small computer company might become something far bigger than anyone expected.
Going public created thousands of millionaires almost overnight and made Apple one of America's most exciting technology companies. The company's visionary leader constantly challenged every team to build products that were both elegant and exceptionally powerful. Design became just as important as engineering, setting Apple apart from nearly every competitor. Apple's next ambitious project aimed to make computing simple enough for ordinary people to enjoy every day.
The Macintosh introduced a graphical interface that would forever influence how people interacted with computers.
Personal computers were no longer just machines for specialists. They were becoming tools for everyday life.
But as Apple grew larger, disagreements over its future began creating serious tension inside the company. In one of Silicon Valley's most surprising moments, a visionary technology entrepreneur left the company he had helped create. Rather than giving up after leaving his previous company, the entrepreneur immediately founded another business focused on building powerful next-generation computers. Although Next sold relatively few computers, its technology would later become far more important than anyone imagined. At the same time, Jobs invested in a small animation studio that would eventually become Pixar. Few people realized this small animation company would soon revolutionize Hollywood.
Meanwhile, Apple struggled with declining sales and uncertainty about its future direction.
The company that once defined innovation now faced one of the most difficult periods in its history. An unexpected opportunity soon arrived that would completely change the future of the company he had originally helped create.
After more than a decade away, the company's former co-founder returned to lead one of the greatest business recoveries in modern history.
When the former co-founder returned during one of the company's darkest moments, he immediately began rebuilding it with a bold new vision. His first decision was surprisingly simple: stop making dozens of confusing products and focus only on creating a few exceptional ones. Jobs challenged designers to build computers that looked unlike anything the world had ever seen.
The colorful iMac surprised the technology industry and proved Apple could once again capture the world's attention.
People no longer bought Apple computers only for performance. They wanted them because they were beautiful, simple, and enjoyable to use. Jobs believed Apple's future extended far beyond computers, leading his team toward an entirely new category of products. In 2001, Apple introduced the iPod, promising to place 1,000 songs inside your pocket. The iconic white earphones soon became a symbol of a generation discovering music in an entirely new way. Apple's growing ecosystem connected hardware and software into one simple experience that customers quickly embraced. Behind closed doors, another secret project was quietly developing that would transform technology forever. Apple spent years perfecting a device that combined a phone, music player, and internet communicator into one product.
The unveiling of a revolutionary touchscreen smartphone fundamentally changed personal technology and reshaped the entire mobile industry.
Long queues outside Apple stores showed that people were witnessing something far more significant than another phone launch.
The touchscreen interface completely changed how millions of people interacted with technology every single day.
Soon, developers around the world began building entirely new businesses through Apple's growing App Store ecosystem.
The smartphone rapidly became one of the most important inventions of the 21st century, connecting billions of people worldwide. Apple continued redefining personal technology by introducing products that created entirely new categories of computing.
Apple's influence extended far beyond electronics, transforming education, healthcare, business, communication, and creative industries.
From one suburban garage to one of the world's most valuable companies, Apple's journey redefined what innovation could achieve.
By combining technology, design, and imagination, Apple didn't simply build products. It permanently changed how the